hello, once again, and welcome to another edition of the Freight Traffic Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. James Robert. Woo! What a day, what a day, what a day. It is hot outside. It's hot outside. Y'all stay cool, drivers. Y'all keep them refrigerators going, man. Keep y'all some ice and water and in in your trucks, man, cause it is a hot one, bro. It is a hot one, and I got a new thing going on, so y'all forgive me. I'm looking at what's up, Charles? Good to see you, baby. What's up? I heard about your fortune, bro. Uh, uh, so on tonight, man. As you can see on the screen, it says it's trucking a skillful trade. That's one thing I want to talk about tonight. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, I just want to kind of ramble. I think I'm gonna make a phone call. Um, like we did last time, we're gonna get some people in here and we're gonna chat it up, see how they week been, see how they going. Man, one thing I've been trying to do, and I'm still working on it, is I'm trying my best, trying my best to I'm on the road. Well, not on the road, but I'm in the city a lot, and I run across a lot of out of state drivers, a lot of drivers from Houston that run over the road, and I've been taking my camera out with me. And one thing I found about a lot of drivers, they're shy. They're shy. Uh, Sometimes they're just short on time. Sometimes I know it could be a little iffy, a little shaky. You know, somebody walk up to you with a camera and a card and ask to give you an interview, ask to give you an interview with you. And I know that's kind of shaky. It's kind of iffy. But if you see me, man, I got my card, I got my camera, and the first thing I do is present myself, tell you what I'm about, tell you where I'm from, tell you what I got going on. It's just really just honestly coming from a good place. Uh, it's coming from a good place, and I really just want to you know, want to get your story out. Want to get your story out. Not trying to. I'm not trying to pick you for your keys to success. If you want to tell it, that's fine. Uh, I'm just out trying to get our story out. Our story. Our story. Uh, the or what can I say? The white collar, blue collar, white collar trucker. Trying to get our story out, and the reason why I try to get our story out is because of the topic on the board on the screen is trucking a skillful trade because you have people where you have somebody that I follow on YouTube, Mr. Kwame Brown. Shout out to Mama's Cooking, Bus Life. He been pushing, ever since he I ain't gonna say made a splash on the internet, but ever since he defended himself on the internet, um, um, it's given him a platform to kind of bring his agenda to the forefront, to the forefront. So that's that's kind of where I got pulled the topic from, and I'm probably gonna be talking on that a lot because I need young people to know that this is a skillful trade that takes a lot, a lot, a lot of skill. Um, uh, People can say, "Oh man, I know how to drive a truck. I know how to do this." Yeah, it's easy. No, it's not. No, it is not. So at the end of the day, it is a skillful trade that you have to be skilled in. You have you just have to. You can't. There's no other way to. Uh, there's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. Um, then we have. Um, I have some other topics going on. We get ready to kind of go into something else. Um, we have some other stuff going on. Uh, don't worry about me if I look over here for a little bit. I'm trying to do this Instagram thing and do the YouTube thing. But at the end of the day, this is what we're talking about. Is trucking a skillful? Is trucking a skillful trade? Is trucking a skillful trade? So I want to know your thoughts on it. I want to know your thoughts on it. I want to know why you say it is, why you say it's not. If not, I can ramble. I can ramble. I can ramble. I can talk. I can talk. Believe that. I can talk. So, with that being said, what we're going to do, I'm gonna just pull up. Um, I am going to talk about some topics as usual that I like I normally do from trucker news, um, from transport topics, from things that have went on, you know, throughout the week. Um, some stuff that I think may be uh, uh, relevant to us as truckers. So I'm gonna try to read this first one. Try to read this first one that what we talked about. We've been talking about this for. I've been talking about it, and and it says driver shortage linked to lifestyle considerations. Castillo says. Castillo. So ATA, as you know, is the American Trucking Association. Chief economist Bob Castillo made his presentation during a virtual motor carrier safety advisory committee meeting July the 20th. All right, so stay with me. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. I got Instagram going on, got YouTube, so I'm just doing this thing right now. The persistent trucker, the persistent truck driver shortage is a complicated issue that is tied in part to quality of life considerations. According to American Trucking Association Chief Economist Bob Castillo. Now let's kind of break this down into compartments, into sections. Okay, um, quality quality of life considerations. What does that mean? Quality of life consideration means to me, in my opinion, is that part of your life, that part of uh, that part of your oh, sounds like air. Oh, what's going on? I wonder what happened. I changed some stuff. I just seen that, Tawana. Let me try to do this. Hold on, y'all, real quick. That the low sounds like air. And let me see if it's mic. So I'm gonna just keep talking. Um, it said that the quality of life was um, one of the reasons for the driver shortage. And so, what quality of life actually means is that that you have no social life, meaning that a lot of drivers are moving away from, in my opinion, uh, that they're moving away from now. India. Okay, should have sound now. Can you hear me now? Is it still kind of staticky? Still static. Hold on, Instagram. Got some things going on. Still nothing. Oh, it's staticky too. All right, let me make an adjustment. I'll be right back, guys. Right back. can't hear me. All right, all right. Are we good? All right. Little technical difficulties there, guys. Welcome back to the show.
The wife had to help you.
Yeah, I had to have my technician come in and do a thing so we can get that buzzing out. I noticed the last couple of shows that I had some buzzing going on. I'm sorry, Instagram. Hey, how y'all doing? I couldn't let y'all see that behind the scenes, but let me shout out to Creative Coco. Not guilty. Creative Coco, not guilty. Y'all go support Creative Coco. I'm gonna pin them right quick. Hold on, YouTube. I'm gonna pin them right quick. Creative Coco. Yeah, there it is. Creative Coco. There they go. In the pen. That's who made the shirts. My shirt. I got plenty more. I have to have them. There it is. And we're back. So what I was talking about was they were saying that the quality of life is what's causing. I hope you're still with me, Charles. I had to get that out, and I know, bro, I probably think that that's why it's people been kind of tuned out because I haven't had my sound right, but I got it now. I'm just gonna have to do what I do until I get this tech in. So the quality of life is why the driver shortage. They're predicting the driver shortage, and in my opinion, it could be. It got some validity to it because of the fact that you have to understand that when you're on that road, when you out there, and you make good money. Don't get it twisted. You make good money, but when you're making good money in anything you do, it comes at a price. It comes at a price, right? It comes at a price. So at the end of the day, you choose to kind of say, okay, I got to sacrifice this to make it good for that. Or I got to sacrifice that to make it good for this. And I think that's where they're coming from when they're saying the quality of life. Because when you're on the road for 3 months, 2 months, 2 weeks at a time, you really don't have the opportunity for a social life. Now, as drivers, we make ourselves have a social life. We make ourselves kind of say, hey man, let me get back home. Let me go relax. Let me go wind down. Let me go get in touch with my family, my extended family, my family that I know. Let me go get in touch with them. Let me go see how they doing. Let me go hook up with some friends. Let me go have a few drinks. Let me go just kind of wind down so that I can reset and get back on the road. After a while, man, that takes a toll on you. And that's why I mean, where you're going to sacrifice one way or the other. Either you're sacrificing your life. Either you're sacrificing on the life side, which is your family, your kids, friends, being able to have that downtime, appropriate downtime. That's the quality of life they're talking about. And we as human beings, we thirst for that. Why do you think bars and during Prohibition, when they wasn't allowing for liquor to be moved, during Prohibition, man, they people were like, man, I just gonna think that at that point suicide and everything was just at the highest peak. Every time something happens, it's at the highest peak, and even though alcohol is one of the most deadliest drugs that we have out there, it was still a way of well, how can I say, relaxation, right? So you just gotta kind of have that point. Not the alcohol. You gotta have a point in your life, in your career, where you can just get back, relax. And I know some drivers, man, they do it well. I did it well. I just decided that for me, my quality of life and the way that I'm set up, and the way that my world goes, I just had to say, man, I'm going to have to cut this loose in order for me to be there for my family. At that time, I had no kids. I was single. Well, not single, but I had a wife. And at the time, you know, it was go. It was go. So I think that for the 12 years, 13 years that I did drive over the road, it sacrificed that first marriage. So at the end of the day, when it all came down to it, I had to sit back and I had to make a plan, and I had to think about it. And I said, ask myself, how long I'm going to do this? And so one way that I knew I had to do it, in the way that I knew I was going to be able to have a good quality of life, have decent money, be able to be home with my family in the evenings, be able to be there for my son and my daughter's wife, be able to do stuff with over the weekend, was I had to look and view and see what the industry was looking like. I'll be honest with you. Over the road is not an old man's game. It's just not. Over the road is not an old man's game. It's just not. It's a young man's game. We do it. Some of the guys who are still over there over the road, we do it because guess what? That's what pay the bills. I'm my own boss. I can do what I want to do. But so many drivers that I started out with 13, 14, 15 years ago, some of those guys, I've talked to a couple of them last week. They're local now. It just gets to a point where you be like, man, I don't want to leave the state, especially with what's going on today, bro. It's so iffy. And Charles, I'm gonna put the link in there, bro, and I'm gonna bring you in if you want to, man, and if you're ready, I'm gonna bring you in, and I want to get your opinion on this because it's so iffy out there nowadays. I just want to get my point out real quick. It's so iffy out there nowadays with everything that's going on. Living is so sensitive right now. With everything that's going on socially, with everything that's going on with the police, with everything that's going on with people in general. You just don't know who you're going to run across. You just don't know who you're going to encounter. And if you don't have the skills, the patience, and the tolerance to deal with people, over the road is not your gig. Because you're an out-of-state driver. You're going into another state, and I'm going to say Kentucky. You're going into another state. You don't know the laws in that state because laws change from state to state. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't. They have little intricate laws in every state that you don't know about. And you'll never know about them until somebody pulls you over and you encounter with them. And if you don't know how to encounter with them the right way, you're going to be a hashtag. You're going to be on the news. It's going to be this happened, that happened. Because you have to know how to deal with authority. You have to know how to deal with people. You have to know how to deal with other drivers. Bro, you have to have a skill in, you almost have to have a psychology degree in order to move from state to state. You have to, because it's so sensitive nowadays. And I'm talking about this because that's what it comes from with the quality of living. It's so sensitive nowadays to just move around in your own city. Just to move around in your own city is sensitive nowadays because you have to have a master's degree in psychology, because you have to know how to deal with people. You have to know how to read people. You have to know how to read situations. You have to have cognitive skills. And that's one thing I can say that me going to prison and getting out, and while in prison, I didn't stay a fool. I didn't stay one of those guys that that just kind of stayed in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't stay, doing this, doing that, getting to this and getting into that, because at the end of the day, I realized after about 2-3 years into my bid that I had a lot more to lose than to gain, and I had people that were depending on me, and I was in there to break a cycle. I was in there to learn how to be a man, learn how to be a father, learn how to be a husband, and gain skills to come back and teach that not only to young men, for the time that the young men that I coached in football, the young men that I mentored, the young men that I taught how to mime, the young men that I came across that just wanted some advice, the young man that I'm raising right now. I did that to break the cycle so that I could show them how to navigate through these murky waters, what we call life right now. Our quality of life, just period, just being at home, has declined. So what do you think the quality of life for a trucker has done? Man, some of these young guys are looking at trucking and saying, man, I want to do it, but bro, there's so much going on. The ones that are conscious, bro, I want to do it, but bro, man, there's too much going on, man. I don't want to leave and go to another state, and then, my mom, my sister, my son, my daughter, my wife, my girlfriend, all of a sudden I'm a hashtag. The quality of life just to live now is murky. You got to navigate through murky waters. And then when you get to another state, now they got quicksand. Hey, I see you, Miss BB. Hey, we could, I don't know where you at. Most definitely, man. My wife, she has some information, RTLA.com, Roberts Transportation Logistics Academy.com. I don't know where you're located, but man, the females are doing it in transportation right now. They doing it. Florida, okay, Florida, man. We still can we still can kind of guide you. You know what I'm saying? We still can kind of guide you, cause my wife has. We have virtual trainings. The only thing about getting the CDL is the in truck training. As far as the CLP, as far as even just getting into dispatching, my wife, she has we have virtual training set up to where while you're wanting to get your CDL, you're wanting to know about the dispatch side of it. She gives you insight to that. I mean, her whole manual and her setup and her videos, they've helped a lot of people. I don't know if she has a connection in Florida, but I'm most likely, because she trained people all over. So she's on here. I put the website up. And she's on here. She sees it. And yeah, just kind of, most definitely, man. I mean, this is a skill. I started out, as you can see, the topic is trucking a skillful trade, and the answer is yes. But I'm into this quality of life thing that they're talking about on this article. And Ms. BB, I'm going to put a link in the bio if you're still on here. I want to know why you want to get into trucking. Don't put it in the comments. I'm going to put a link up there in a minute after I get through rambling. I want to know why. And, you know, not to just kind of, but I just want to, if you don't mind, because I like to interact. And I'm glad you tuned in. I'm glad you found my podcast and said, hey, let me see what this dude talking about. I would love to see why. Ask why. And I love to, you know, get a little background. And, you know, my wife, and by the time you know, go to the website and kind of see what's going on there, my wife, I already have a kind of picture of, you know, what's going on, what you're talking about, and all that kind of stuff. Back to me rambling. The quality of life. Oh, man. Oh, really? Ow. Mama's cooking. Hey, man, say mama's cooking. Hey, yeah. Hey, man, thank you for joining. So, wait a minute. Let me pause real quick. I'm finna throw this link in the chat. And this gonna be for Miss BB. Charles, you can get in the room, but I want to talk to Miss BB real quick. So that's what the quality of life. Nowadays, it's really just the waters are murky. The waters are murky. And so at the end of the day, I think that's where they get that a driver shortage is because of the quality of life. Is because people don't want to go outside their perimeters right now. You know, and I think it started, and I know it was people before him, but I think it started with Trayvon Martin. It opened up our eyes. It opened up our eyes to a side of America that kind of just made us pull back. We pull back. We use caution once stuff like that happen. And then you hear about more and more and more. And then you got to understand, I understand, you know, things happen. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be that thing that happened. It's just plain and simple. You don't want to be that thing that happened. So when they say the quality of life is the reason for the driver shortage, that's why. That's why. Right there. In my opinion, in my view of things, that's why. Because I want to make sure I come home to my family each and every night. And if I don't want it to be at the hands of someone else, whether it be a police, whether it be road rage, whether it be another drunk driver in a truck, because you do know they've just, I spoke on it last week, guy got shut down as an imminent threat on the road. Reasons that I know, I believe and have faith in God first and foremost. So at the end of the day, I understand that when God's plan is the best plan. So I don't worry about going home. I don't worry about that. I'm dying to live, as I would say, dying to live, because life is after death. Everybody's going to pass that way. I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do in life to make sure that it's the way God wants me to go. And nobody knows if that's the way God wants you to go. But that's why the quality of life in trucking is important. Because right now people are trying to stay to where they can raise their kids. People are trying to stay to where they can get their kids to where we are. Get their nephews, their nieces to where we are. Because a lot of these kids don't care. A lot of these kids don't care about tomorrow like we do. A lot of these kids don't care about tomorrow like we do. So that's what they mean by the quality of life. Let me read the rest of this. I told you we can break this down and go through this whole thing, and it'll take more than 2 hours. Castillo reported the trucking industry needed an additional 60,000, let's just say 61,000 truckers in 2018, a shortfall that is expected to grow to 105,000 drivers by 2023 unless recruitment efforts improve. Castillo delivered a presentation to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Motor Carrier Safety Advisory Committee on July the 20th. He identified various factors that are exacerbating the driver shortage, ranging from lifestyle issues to the pandemic's limiting effect on Department of Motor Vehicles and driver schools. That's me. That's us. 105,000 drivers by 2023. Go ahead and click the link, BB. I don't see you down there. Go ahead and click it. 125,000 drivers by... Oh, you're unavailable. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, you listening? Okay. But 125,000 drivers short by 2023. Unless they get, as they would say, the factors, exuberating factors, ranging from lifestyle issues, the pandemic, Department of Motor Vehicles being limited, shut down, and driver schools not being accessible. We took a hit too. We took a hit. If my wife wouldn't have been already on the tech side of the game and already tapped into Zoom and Streamline and all of those other video conferencing sites, we that made us get tapped in. She was already tapped in, but that made her just kind of say, let me just jump into this. Sometimes things that happen and you try to wonder why. And sometimes God will be trying to show you that this is the way to go. And I think He showed us in business and in our business that this is the way to go. Get it set up, get it moving. And some people just said forget it. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to go that way. They didn't want to tap in. They didn't want to use StreamYard and all that. They didn't want to use it. So they just let it go. Charles, if you ready, come on in, man. Charles, come on in. Link in the bio, baby. Link in the bio. Come on in, Charles, if you ready. I don't know if you ready or if you ready, but I'm gonna go and ramble some more. But people didn't tap in. We just didn't. We tapped out. We tapped out. When God showed us the way to go, we tapped out. We tapped out. Now I tapped in because even before that, I was watching YouTube, and I had been, but way before I had been thinking about, let me get into this. 3 years, let me get into this. My wife asked me one day. She said, "Well, even when we got married, she was like, if you could do one thing, what would you do?" I said, "I'll open me up a trucking academy." That was way back in 2015, 14. And unbeknownst to me, she had that in the back of her mind as her way, because she had already been in transportation industry. First with her first husband, he had a truck, and then she had some dealings with Metro. She was dispatching for Metro, doing some things. So she's already been always have been in tune with transportation. It's just that when she got with me, and she seen the passion, and she seen that, it wasn't about money for me. I just really love to drive trucks. I really love and have a passion for what I do. I don't call it work when I leave my house, because I love what I do. I didn't get into it because this was a way for me to make money. I got into it because I seen that God gave me an avenue to rebuild my future when I got out of prison. And that's what I did. And so now I'm in a position to help others. My wife started helping. It started out as, okay, I want to help women who are trying to get out of difficult situations, who's trying to come out of that homeless state, who's trying to come out of that abusive state, who's trying to get on their feet so they can leave an abusive state. Anybody who had been misplaced, anybody who was coming out of prison and needed to know, okay, I want to start this as my career. Can you help me? Yes, we can. My wife started that, and I told her then, I say, start it where you gonna meet those women at first. So she started connecting with other women and building what I call a spider web of connections throughout the United States, through her dispatching services, through the people she already knew that was in dispatching. Through her, while she dispatched, she was meeting different shippers and talking to different brokers and making relationships with them and connecting the dots and building this web to where we can reach to Central Florida, because we know somebody in Central Florida or in the surrounding areas that can help Miss BB get her CDL. That's why we started Roberts Transportation and Logistics Academy. And that's why I got in front of this camera and started freight trapping. I ain't just do this because the name sound good. Freight trapping means something. Freight trapping means something. That means that we setting as many traps as we can to catch this freight. We setting as many traps as we can to catch this freight, and you should too. My wife teaches people how to set those traps to catch that freight through dispatching, through her brokerage firm. She'll teach you how to do that. That's what freight trapping is about. That's what freight trapping is about. Our academy is about teaching people how to maneuver. The foundation of it is teaching men and women. First, it was women because she wanted to help those that needed to be helped. She poured into many of women, and the law of reciprocity came back to her, came back to the business, came back to the family. So we started that because we wanted to go into being with. We started that because we wanted to go being with those who needed it. Me, first foremost, helping those coming out of prison, helping those misplaced, displaced, disenfranchised. My wife helping those women that were abused and trying to get out of abusive situations, and those who have gotten out of abusive situations, and now I need to find a way, how can I provide for my family, provide for my kids? So now, what we do now is we've got that set up. We've gotten it set up. So now, that's where my passion comes from. And that's why I say, yes, we are a skillful trade. We are a skillful trade. We are a trade. We are an industry to where you can drive this truck as long as you can hold a medical certificate. You can drive this truck as long as you hold a medical certificate. You can drive that truck as long as you can hold a medical certificate. I promise you, you can hold that job as long as you hold a medical certificate. It's a trade that'll never go away. I just talked to a young man. He was riding with his grandfather, and we were at a stop, and I asked him, I say, are you learning the trucking industry? He was like, nah, I want to be a welder. And guess what color he was? White. Man, do you know he understands that welding has almost 8 different facets to it? Once you become a welder, there is no limit. There is no limit to what you can do. Man, they have jobs that go for years. You go 3 years here, 4 years there. Now, they're pretty much like trucking also, because once those jobs shut down,
They'll tell you, hey man, we got another job in such and such city. That's another 3 years. Right? So here you go. Here you go, trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? What's my decision? What's my quality of life? But my whole point is this, is that he understands that this world, America, wasn't built on education. It was built on the backs of black people. It was built on the backs of trades. It was built on the backs of we being able to do the infrastructure on the ground. Welding, carpentry, electrical work, plumbing, all of that. But how are they going to do all of that? Because truck drivers got the materials off of the ship, out of the train yard, from their dock, and took it to that site. Took it to wherever their job was. They're there to do the job, but who gonna get all of that metal there, all of that sheet metal, all of those oversized cranes? Who gonna get it there? Us. That's why within Roberts Transportation Logistics Academy, we also have 18 gear trucking. 18 gear trucking, and the reason why I named it that, those are my trainers in my CDL program. Those are my trainers. But me personally, I also consult trucking companies on, safety and compliance and whatever else they need. If they need me to come in and train their drivers, I do that also. But that is made up of trained trucker and experienced truckers in our CDL department. But at the end of the day, what happens is that people forget that we all need each other. We need the welders. We need the carpenters. We need the plumbers. We need the truckers. Because all of those gears work together to make life easier for us, to make life move. There's a gear. There's a gear. This is a gear. This is a gear. This is a gear. This is a gear. And if one of the teeth are missing, the gear skips. If two is missing, it don't even move. You probably can miss one and you'll get a... But in gears, man, gears come together and they make things turn. Hence, 18 gear trucking. 18 speed, 18 gears, right? Shameless plug. But trucking is a skillful trade that has to be taught by trained, experienced drivers. Nobody's going to ask you to train anybody if they don't have the experience and if they don't have the skill. Because when I tell you, you cannot get your CDL without first passing the pre-trip. At first, trying to parallel park an 18-wheeler. And a parallel parking an 18-wheeler is not the same. It's not the same when you're hold on, y'all. not worried, but Ms. BB, I'm asking you a question. I'm just kind of seeing when did you see it, because uh, uh, because what happens is that you get into trucking and you get in it and you say, I want to do this. And I just want to back up a little bit. The first thing I ask a driver, when we begin to I begin to assess him is, why trucking? Why trucking? See, I'm just not in it to take your money, right? I'm not in it to sell you a field of dreams about trucking. I'm not in it to, say I can train him, get this money, and let him go. Nah, I'm not in it for that. Because those people who do that and they set them youngsters up, or whoever it is, for failure. Because I let you know, man, you can't come into this industry playing, because you'll mess around and hurt somebody else's family. You have a building behind you. You have a horizontal building behind you. And if it falls, whatever it falls on, gonna kill it. Just like a vertical building, it's gonna kill it. And you have to be conscious, aware, and in a good space when you get behind that wheel. So many times I've seen drivers get behind the wheel, and quality of life now, once again, quality of life, get behind that wheel and their mind state is not where it needs to be. Their mind state is not where it needs to be. They're not focused. They're not relaxed. They're not calm. They got other stuff on their minds. And don't get it twisted. I can tell you this because I've been there. I went through a divorce while I was on the road. From Houston to California. Driving a chemical tanker. We did an episode on mental health. That's what we tap into. But I'm giving you all facets of trucking. I'm giving you all facets of trucking. I would say out of 100% of drivers on the road, and this is just my estimate and me just thinking, I would say 65% are mentally depleted. Mentally, they're depleted. Not at the moment, but at some point in their career, they were mentally depleted. I would say about 90% of us have went to work at some point mentally depleted. But see, in trucking, when you go to work mentally depleted, and you just going to make money and you ain't going because you skilled and this is what you like to do, you run the risk of hurting somebody's family. You running the risk of taking somebody's life. You run the risk, and that's why you have to be skilled at this. Because when you're mentally depleted, just like in football, in sports period, when you're mentally depleted in football and you haven't and you went y'all been into 2 overtimes and the score is still tired, mentally you're depleted because everything you've learned to build up to that game, that this receiver does, that this tackle does, or this running back does, or this is the way that a receiver moves his hand. All of that stuff you learn, you only learned it so you can handle it for 4 quarters. Once you get into that second overtime, you're mentally gone. You're mentally depleted. And now you're depending on your skills. Your body's in shape. You're thinking, but your thinking it's not sharp. That's what I mean by depleted. It's not sharp. But it's sharp enough for you to still be in the game. Now, what's taking you to the next step? You're still in the game, so what's taking you to the next step? Your skill at your position. You're skilled enough to still be in the game and still make moves and still make plays. So at the end of the day, what happens is that your body begins to kick in. All of that training, all of that weight training, all of the running you've done, all of the up downs you've done, all of the free throws you done shot, all of the layups you done did, all of the reps you done took swinging basket, all of the reps you done took at kicking that ball through the net in soccer, all of the reps you done took when you've been on that tennis court, all the reps you done took swinging a golf club. Your muscle memory begins to kick in. Because as soon as you line up, you're not as sharp here, but your mind is telling your body, muscle memory, back pedal, left, right. Your mind is telling you, chop, chop, chop. It's moving to the right, move. You're probably mentally depleted, but your body is still going. Because you're skilled at what you do. Trucking is a skillful trade that when you're mentally depleted, you've been on the road for 2 weeks, you've been on the road for a month, when you're only used to being on the road 2 weeks or a week. You're mentally depleted because you want to be home in your own bed. You want to see your mama, you want to see your kids, you want to see your wife. You're becoming mentally depleted. But your skill, because you know what you're doing in that truck, you know how to maneuver that truck, you know how to take your time, you know how to slow it down, you know when to pick it up, you know how to get in and out of tight spots. You know when a driver is being too aggressive on the road and you know how to back off instead of trying to push forward. Your skills kick in. And when your skills kick in, when you're mentally depleted, it saves you. It gets you back home. It gets those other people that are around you back home to where you can reset and feed your mind again so you can go get it. Understand what I'm saying? Trucking is a skill, man. Trucking is a skill. I make it look easy. Other people make it look easy because after years and years and years and years and years and reps, when you do something for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you become an expert. They say you become an expert in it. Because you do this for more than 8 hours a day. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. That's why I don't never call nobody who done made it to the pros. I don't care what kind of pro you are, tennis pro, golf pro, tennis, track star, basketball star, NFL, bro. You are never, even when you make it to college, don't you know it's a million kids who never made it to college in sports or academics. For you to make it to the pros, how can you be a bust, bro? And I guess sometimes you just gotta have another view of life when things are being thrown around where people say you a bust. People say, you didn't pan out to their expectations. Anybody in the pros I don't consider a bust. Nobody in the pros I consider a bust. Nobody. When somebody tell me they've been driving these trucks over the road for more than 5 years, well, I ain't gonna even say 5 years. When they tell me they've been driving these trucks for, I'm gonna say 5 years. They've been driving these trucks over the road for more than 5 years, and you have one fender bender, or you get one speeding ticket, or maybe two, maybe you get an oversized ticket. Bro, I'm not finna call you no bust in the trucking industry. Bro, you made it. You know how many guys get in the truck and in that first year they decide, man, this ain't for me? They ain't have it in their heart. That's why you got to be careful when you go into these different programs that's going to teach you how to dispatch and be a broker, and teach you how to maneuver a truck, and teach you how to get your CLP and all of that kind of stuff. You got to be careful, because then people will just throw a program at you and say buy it, and say the instructions are in the program. Just follow the program. What you mean just follow the program? Trucking don't go like that. Even for dispatchers, brokers, the trucking don't go like that. Bro, you gotta it ain't something. That's why right now, if you, like we used to do, and a lot of truck drivers, older drivers, they'll tell you, it's so strict right now to get your license that back in the day we didn't have all those restrictions. Man, you could go in, sit down, and take each portion of that test. General knowledge, air brakes, tankers, doubles and triples, all of them. Endorsements. You can take them all in one day. Whether you pass or fail. I think I failed the general knowledge twice before I passed it. Because general knowledge was the ones I took first. But see, if somebody would have told me, they'd have told you, no, take your air brakes, take your tankers, take your hazmats, take all your endorsements. Well, you can't take the hazmat until you get your CLP. But, well, not get your CLP, but you can't go get your fingerprints and stuff until you get your CLP, your CDL rather. But they would have told me, take all of your endorsements, then take the general knowledge. Because it's just like it says, general knowledge is just a compilation of the tests that you, all of the other tests combined. And they just combined it into a general knowledge test that goes on, you know what I mean, that you have to pass. But back in the day, you could sit down at that computer 3 tests, 3 times general knowledge, because most of the tests, they have different tests each time. The same test is not, you're not going to take the same test every time. I think they got 4 or 5 different general knowledge tests. I think they got 3 different air brakes tests. I think they got 3 different hazmat tests. I think they got 3 different doubles and triples tests. They got 3 different tanker tests. Yeah. They got you go back and you failed it one time. When you go back and sit down, you're not going to have the same test. They mix them up. Yeah. See, back in the day, we could sit, like I said, we could sit down and, oh, boom, 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 boom. Oh, shit, I already seen that. I got the answers. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, pass. Go to the next one. Once you get past general knowledge, it's all over. Then, hey, the link's in the bio if anybody want to click in and have an opinion about what I'm talking about or anything I said. Link's in the bio. Just click it, and then, I'll bring you in and we could talk. But it is almost, it's harder now to get your CDLs than it was back then. Back then, like I said, when we got in the truck, we were focused on parallel parking and doing the air brake test. Versus now, if you can't perform a proper pre-trip, it's over with. It's over with. So yes, trucking is a skillful trade. Yes, it takes time. It takes passion. It takes know-how. And it takes experience to properly teach you how to maneuver and understand the intricacies of trucking. But it is worth it because it will stay with you throughout your whole life. It'll stay with you through your whole life. Trucking, you can truck until they say you can no longer obtain a medical card. And if you're 70 years old and can get your medical card, you can still drive a truck. You can still drive a truck. That's just what it is. That's what it is. I wish my boy Charles would have jumped in the link. He probably busy with his business. Kind of get his opinion about, everything that I said. Everything I just tried to just kind of give you guys, point to you guys. But yeah, man. Trucking is it is a skillful trade. It is a skillful trade. And because it is a skillful trade, we are beginning to become they say by 20, you hear me say it in the article, by 2023 we're going to be short 105,000 drivers. And that's pushing them toward autonomy, autonomous driving, which for me, they have these trucks, but they're only They only take you down the straight highway. You still gonna need a driver behind it. I can't see you being in a horizontal building with nobody behind the truck. Nobody behind the wheel. I can't see it. Glitches happen. Hackers happen. And somebody gets into their system and you no longer have control of that truck. That commodity's gone and the community is at risk. The public safety is at risk. And that's the main thing they tell us when okay, BB, I feel you. I was just trying to see because like some of the podcasts, like 85 South and Star, we got hoodies. I blessed them with hoodies. I just wanted to make sure you got it. But I'm glad you seen it on this podcast, and I'm glad he shouted out the business, man. He a real one, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate you for coming through and listening, and seeing what the content was about. But yeah, just hit up robertstla.com and set up a consultation with my wife. She'll be more than happy to kind of see where you at with it, what you want to do with it, and see if she can be of some help. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. This is an organic, I'm telling you, this is an organic podcast. I talk about life. As you can see, I talk about life. I can't help it because I'm a teacher. So there's no way I can just talk about transportation and not talk about life events, what's going on with us as a community, what's going on with us as a human race, what's going on with us as people of God, and sit here and not, because that's in my DNA. God and spirituality is in my DNA, and I'm not going to change that, and I'm not going to change who I am. I can ask people to use their content to try to get subscribers up and all that other kind of stuff. This is not a money thing for us. This is a teaching thing for us. We just want people to be, go out there and get it and have the real know-how. Just have a real genuine know-how of how to go get it, and you pay for quality. And I would think that my wife has set up a quality academy. We are running a quality academy. She don't let me cut corners when it come down to the academy, and I wouldn't expect anything less. So thank you for the subscription. Thank you for all anybody who subscribed. I hope some of the things that we say on this podcast, some of the interviews that we do, I hope that they're, helpful in you guys getting to the point where you want to be in your career as a trucker, in life, because you do know, like I said, all of these gears turn together. I can talk to a welder on here as well as a truck driver. I can talk to a plumber on here as well as a truck driver. I can talk to an electrician on here as well as a truck driver. I can talk to an HVAC technician on here as well as a truck driver. Because it all goes hand in hand to me. One hand washes another to me. You can never not have enough good relationships. Never. So I could talk about it all on here. It's just that Trucking is my baby. Trucking is my love. Trucking is my passion. And we could talk about all of that. We could talk about trucking all day long. We could talk about trucking all day long. And I support those podcasts that I like. Kwame Brown at Bus Life, Mama's Cooking, Mama's Seasoning, all of that. I support that. Star, I support him. I listen to them because they're much different from me. They're more on the entertainment side. If I listen to a trucking podcast, because I listen to trucking podcasts now, I do, because they have a lot of good interviews like me. They got another podcast that he does a lot of interviews, and I appreciate it because I like to hear people's stories. I like to hear people talk about where they came from, how they got started, how they daddy taught them, how they boyfriend taught them, how their husband and wife team. She dispatch, he drive. She in the truck with him dispatching, while she dispatching 8 or 9 other trucks also. I love to hear stories like that. And when it works for you, it works. What works for me and mine works. We trying to supply this industry with skillful drivers. That way, when you buy another truck and you say, "Man, I need a driver," I say, "Bro, you got one in class. He finna be out. He just need a chance." Then, my reputation as being a quality academy, a quality trainer, you don't question. Well, I ain't gonna say you don't question, but you trust when I say, "I got one for you. He coming out in a week. Bet, bring him on." Because we have a relationship, and because I've put out drivers who's been successful, my track record is good, you gonna hire him. That's our goal. That's our goal. That is our end goal. Yep, that is our end goal. And so, I'm going to do one more news. I'm going to let some, if I guess Charles got something to do. Let me see. Let me go back. Yeah, I was waiting to see if Charles was gonna jump in on this topic, but he got something to do. So let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find another little topic I can just tap into real quick. Oh, that's a good one. How loyal are you to the trucking company you working for right now? How loyal are you? So we know in 2008, well, really about 2006 till about I think it really started in like the end of 2007, but 2008 for sure. Man, trucking took a big hit all the way until 2013, 14. Man, I don't know what happened, man. Loads were, man, you were running loads for from here to Dallas for $300, bro. Everybody was saying, man, let's shut it down. Let's shut it down. Let's lay it down, man. Let's lay it down. And just because the race was just that low, man, wasn't nobody making money. And a lot of people got out of trucking. A lot of people got out of trucking because it was just so bad, man. It was just so bad. People got out of trucking because you weren't making no money. No money was being made. You were just running just to make a few chips. Unless you was, I'm going to put it like this here. At that time, oil and gas, and I was in the oil and gas field at that time, man, wasn't no pumping going on. None. And people were just hoping, people was just like, man, bro, we're gonna run this pipe down there, but man, we just hoping that it'll break. That something to break. Had my own truck then, and I was running under this company because we used to move pipe from Houston to Bud Willow, California. Then drop that off, and then pick up a load of onions coming back to Dallas. And then out of Dallas, I either did back home, it all depends, or pick up a load of shingles to be delivered the same day. So it was so bad, man, that everybody was just like, hey, man, we just finna call it a day. We not even finna, you know what I'm saying? We not even finna mess with none of this. And so it took everything in me. I'm talking about everything in me. And I think I stayed in trucking because of my love for it. And I was loyal to that company. See, I show my loyalty to you all the way up until you prove your loyalty to me. You show that you're not loyal to me. I'm loyal to a fault. I'm loyal to a fault. I mean, friends, family, loved ones, I'm loyal to a fault. I give you the benefit of the doubt all day long. But the moment you show me that you're not loyal to me, I'm out. It ain't no coming back. It ain't no coming back. You know how when you used to have that girlfriend in high school and you would break up, go back. Break up, go back. Nah. Not me. Not me. Once we done, we done. It's over. Finito. Because I've exhausted all my loyalty to you. I've exhausted all of my loyalty to you. And you can't give it back. We good. It ain't nothing else to talk about. So, are you loyal to the company that you work for? I was. Through 2008, through the bad times, through the good times. But then when it came time for them to bless me, it came up with all kind of excuses. They came up with all kind of excuses. So you know what I did? I said, alright, it's time for me to jump to my next plan. I always had a plan in place. Because at that time, I had been driving flatbed for like, I want to say the better part of 9 years. I'm talking about tarping in 5 below weather, up in Epping, North Dakota. So cold that when you pull out your tarps out of the back of your bed or off of your truck, they so hard that they don't even just fold out. You gotta push them out. Then you working out there in that cold weather, in that freezing cold weather. Tarps hard, leather hard. Bruh. Boy, ooh, when I think about that, man, where God done brought me from. When I think about where God done brought me from. Lord have mercy. Boy, that was some hard work. Tarping in 5 below weather. When your straps froze, tarps froze, but they want this load tarped. It's some cold shippers out there with no love. And that was in my toolbox when I made the decision to move into the next phase of my career. That was in my toolbox. That they got me that load knowing that it was freezing up there. And that's what made me say, man, y'all don't give a damn about me. And then when they didn't bless me, I said, okay, alright. Started my tanker career. So yeah, I was loyal. I'm loyal. I'm a loyal person. Period. Whether it comes to trucking company, people, whatever. Yep. I'm a loyal person. When it comes to just period. But once I see you not loyal to me, we good. So man, that's my rumbling for the night. We had a few technical difficulties. But I want to thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Freight Trapping Podcast. I have been your host, Mr. James Roberts, and I want to wish you guys nothing but love, happiness, and joy in your life. And remember that God has the final say. I pray for you guys' mental health. I pray for you guys' safety. Those truckers who are out there on their road, hey man, keep that left door closed, get to where you're getting, and come back home the way you left. And with that, we out. Y'all have a good night.